I think there'll be an inflection point this year. Gold and silver become mainstream. Maybe it has to do with the banks collapsing or bailed in or whatnot. And then they really start to make significant pronounced moves. I think it's important to realize that on December 27th, the closing price of silver on the Shanghai Gold Exchange was 26.50 an ounce. On the CME, which is the COMEX, it was 24.31. So $2.19 higher, almost 10% higher. Now, that is a trend that you'll continue to see happen. I think they will slowly turn up the heat and arbitrage all the gold and silver away from the West. Bang, all at once. We'll wake up on a Monday morning and COMEX will be irrelevant. And Shanghai will say, COMEX and LBMA have silver at 29 bucks. We're putting it at 47. And watch how fast every drop of silver that hasn't yet been sold moves eastward.
In this episode, we dive in the realm of investment opportunities as silver emerges as a compelling proposition deserving of our discerning scrutiny. This underappreciated metal often languishes in market valuations, a gap that presents an intriguing arbitrage opportunity. Imagine acquiring silver when its market price undervalues its intrinsic worth and subsequently divesting it when market demand propels its value higher. A financial maneuver akin to securing a discounted gem that becomes a prized commodity. That's what Andy Schectman talks in today's show. On one hand, nations such as China and India are amassing significant silver reserves, signaling their prescience in anticipating its future significance. On the other, the dollar, once a stalwart, faces gradual depreciation, rendering silver an increasingly attractive safe haven asset. Beyond its traditional role, silver now plays a pivotal part in various cutting-edge technologies, amplifying its demand. Silver, though less illustrious than gold, may yet prove to be the conduit to financial triumph, as intimated by the sagacious insights of silver expert Andy Schectman. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss out on our commodities videos, and check our pinned comment for some massive crypto sign-up bonuses if you're thinking about adding Bitcoin to your portfolio. Enjoy the video.
LD hit its all-time highs last week, and on December 27th, the London benchmark for gold hit its all-time high, and there's virtually no hype about it, which is really weird to me. And I think there'll be an inflection point this year where gold and silver become mainstream. Maybe it has to do with the banks collapsing or bailed in or whatnot. And then they really start to make significant pronounced moves. I think it's important to realize that on December 27th, the closing price of silver on the Shanghai Gold Exchange was 26.50 an ounce. But on the CME, which is the COMEX, it was 24.31. So $2.19 higher, almost 10% higher on Shanghai than on the CME or on the LBMA. Now, that is a trend that you'll continue to see happen. I think they will slowly turn up the heat and arbitrage all the gold and silver away from the West. You look at what's happening on COMEX. The open interest on silver right now is 1,500% of the registered silver. In other words, there's 1,500% more paper than there are bars backing it. And so that's a situation that grows very dangerous by the day. That's what the Hunt brothers noticed in 1980.
Yep.
Way more contracts than bars. Yep. It's being suppressed. And you got a report that just came out that Mexico, who has been the #1 producer of silver on the planet, their silver production is down 25% over the last 2 years.
Made a video about that yesterday.
And if you don't expect that they will do some sort of nationalizing of their mines before it all goes bye-bye, they're saying that by 2026, they could be out of silver. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I mean, I think, look, silver is the most undervalued commodity on the planet. And the central banks are buying it, not just gold. India bought 80 million ounces between October and November. They bought 304 million ounces in 2022. I think there are very few things on the planet that offer the upside potential that silver does. And it's so counterintuitive and has been not enjoyed the same rally that gold has, that it's being ignored by the mainstream, and that falls right into the hands of the countries that are using the suppression of the Western market against us.
In the world of silver investments, recent developments have sparked both optimism and caution. The silver market saw a boost in prices, primarily driven by expectations of interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve in 2024. Investors are closely monitoring upcoming economic data to gain insights into the trajectory of U.S. interest rates. Silver was trading at $24, reflecting a notable 0.89% increase. However, it's worth noting that while silver has benefited from the Federal Reserve's dovish stance, its performance doesn't mirror that of gold, which has remained robust. Investors have shifted their focus toward alternative investment avenues, particularly stocks and the cryptocurrency market, with the eagerly anticipated launch of the first Bitcoin ETF drawing funds away from silver. The U.S. dollar has maintained stability, with traders closely evaluating the possibility of substantial rate cuts by the Fed in 2024. The dollar index has shown a slight uptick, reflecting market expectations of these impending cuts. According to the CME FedWatch tool, there's an 86% likelihood of rate reductions commencing in March. The Federal Reserve's dovish tone in December, forecasting a 75 basis point reduction in rates for 2024, contrasts with the stance of the European Central Bank, ECB, and the Bank of England, BOE. Investors are eagerly awaiting this week's economic data, including job openings and non-farm payrolls, for additional insights into the Fed's forthcoming rate decisions. Considering the Federal Reserve's signals, competing investment trends, and geopolitical unrest, the short-term outlook for the silver market appears cautiously optimistic. All eyes are now on how these factors will unfold and influence silver's value in the near future. From a technical analysis perspective, silver XAG-USD currently trades at $24.04, positioning itself above its 200-day 2366 and 50-day 2362 moving averages, indicating a bullish momentum. However, it faces a significant hurdle at the minor resistance level of $24.50, a pivotal juncture. Maintaining support above the trend line at 2349 is critical, as a breach below could potentially trigger a downward trend. The broader market's boundaries are delineated by the primary support level at 2223 and the main resistance level at 2591. Now we'll show you the best clips from Andy Schectman's latest interview, but first hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and take advantage of our massive sign-up bonuses, as Bybit gives your free $20 to buy crypto just for creating an account. Link in the description and pinned comment. Enjoy the video.
What it boils down to, that from a historical standpoint, accepting a country's debt as an asset, it has a very short historical precedent. And I think the rest of the world is beginning to understand that as they are shedding treasuries. They're choosing gold and silver and hard commodities instead. You know, one of the pushbacks against a common settlement currency rather than a reserve currency. So I think the BRICS will issue a settlement currency, common. Maybe it's at the meeting in Russia this year, or maybe it's 2 years from now. Who knows? But the response is, what do you do with all of the excess reserves? What do you put them in to maintain, stability and then a return on it? Well, for the first time in 45 years, the 10-year treasury is more volatile than gold and silver. And that's because all of these central banks are selling treasuries and buying commodities. Well, that's how you do it. I mean, I think that commodities will take a different, gold and silver, and in particular, will take a different view, a different worldview in the coming years. Instead of government debt being used as a liquid asset, I think instead it will be something more along the lines of gold and silver, which will be viewed as real wealth, something that is finite and depleting. And there will become a rush. There will be a rush to get it. So we ain't seen nothing yet. That's all I can tell you. And using the environment of really make-believe commodity prices, courtesy of the Western system, to accumulate as much as they can, slowly enough so not turn up the heat on the prices, but just enough so that they can pickpocket the world of all of their gold and silver to anyone who's foolish enough to let go of them at these prices. There are very few things that I've ever seen in 33, almost 34 years in finance that offer what silver does in terms of its fundamentals, both geologically and historically in price, between supply and demand, a growing demand and decreasing supply, both above ground and in ground. I mean, you couldn't ask for better fundamentals. So,
Yeah.
and there's the old saying that the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. The market is irrational. The price is irrational. The price is counterintuitive. But the big money draining it using the Western suppression should be key for you to see the truth. And that is that they're using it against us. And one day, and that's the little by little by little by little, bang, all at once, we'll wake up on a Monday morning and COMEX will be irrelevant. And Shanghai will say, COMEX and LBMA have silver at 29 bucks. We're putting it at 47. And watch how fast every drop of silver that hasn't yet been sold moves eastward. And the whole system in the West is then rendered for what it is. There'll be two prices, the West and the East. And I just think that there are very few things that you can buy that offer you safety, stability, privacy, exit from the matrix, and upside potential the way that silver does.
What do you think of Andy Schectman idea of a massive arbitrage between China and the West in the silver markets? Will America wake up to the realities of the silver's scarcity? Post in the comments section down below your insights and let us know your price prediction for silver for the end of 2024. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel as everything helps with the algorithm. Thanks for watching the video to the end. Hope you liked it, and I see you on the next one.